it is almost impossible not to be overwhelmed by Venice. The Canal Grande is the main transport thoroughfare of the lagoon city. Nearly 4 kilometers long and with only 3 bridges crossing it. Venice is built on many small islands, which originally were nothing more than muddy sandbanks. The city was built on thousands of wooden piers, and in time a unique new building style developed which met the requirements of this water-engulfed island landscape. The palaces that lie along the Canal Grande represent Venetian power and influence across the centuries. At the southeastern end of the Canal Grande stands the church Santa Maria della Salute. Gondolas are exclusive to Venice, a symbol of Venetian romance. Traditionally built from 8 different varieties of wood suited to the asymmetric design, and the gondolier stands at its stern, effortlessly steering with a long oar along shallow canals. Of an estimated 14,000 gondolas, only about 500 remain in use. The lagoon city displays great character, well-deserved pride, plus a breath of transience. Everywhere, wonderful buildings of brick and marble, created with a combination of elegant Gothic building artistry and Baroque affluence. Venice, homage to the art of stonemasonry. And nearly everywhere, water, lapping up against its buildings. The poor people of Venice lived peacefully as fishermen along the coast. When the Huns invaded in the 5th century and destroyed all the villages, the inhabitants took refuge on the outlying islands of the lagoon. Gradually, a city in the sea developed. 118 islands were linked together, and on millions of wooden pillars, houses, palaces, and churches were built. More than 100 squares and 3,000 alleyways, and 177 canals, spanned by 400 bridges. As trade developed, Venice became the Mediterranean's leading naval power. A maritime republic developed, and in 727 AD, the first Doge was elected as lifetime leader. Today, the Doge's palace on the Piazza San Marco is testament to Venice's power and splendor during this era. Instead of a city bus, a regular Venetian boat service crosses to Burano and Murano in just under 45 minutes. Away from Venice proper, Venetian romance remains undisturbed on these tranquil islands. Here, all is calm and peaceful. On Burano, the men are fishermen and the women lace makers. On Murano, the skill is glass blowing. The art of the glass blowers is fascinating. To the onlooker, each newly created object like a little miracle. A skill spanning many centuries. Here, the glass blower's art is at its most accomplished. The artisans of Murano well understand how to shape this colorful, shiny, and fragile material into a wonderful work of art. Just off Venice lies the small island of San Michele. Here, a cloister with an adjoining cemetery was built. The cloister radiates tranquility, and soon the hubbub of Venice is forgotten. Only until the middle of the 19th century were churches allowed to bury the dead on the land behind their buildings. This was the time when gravediggers silently transported the bodies in black, hand-carved gondolas. From this time on, burying the dead was only permitted in San Michele Cemetery. Due to the extremely damp subsoil, Venetians bury their dead in the honeycomb-shaped alcoves of the cemetery wall. Each year, 2.5 million visitors arrive for a few days and nearly 10 million for a short visit to experience the mystique of the Serenissima. The Canal Grande is regarded as Venice's main street. It weaves through the main lagoon city, past palaces, churches and houses. The boat service called Vaporetto, plus gondolas and small motorboats, replace buses, cars and bicycles. The stone, water and atmosphere of Venice combine to portray a marvelous picture of colour, light and form. An inspiring canvas, which is constantly changing. The world-famous Rialto Bridge joins San Marco to San Polo, built on 12,000 pillars, 48 meters long and 22 meters wide. The many small canals are equivalent to narrow alleyways, and some properties are only accessible by boat or gondola. The allure of historical contrast gives the Venetian a special feeling of pride and well-being, and in turn, the visitor is able to benefit from the magic which has developed. The city seems to possess an air of melancholy, a marvel searching for an equal, born from the watery emergence of an unconquerable people. Venice controlled the sea and established settlements along strategically important positions along its trade routes. Due to diplomatic skill, the city soon controlled trade with Byzantium. 3 golden centuries of peace and wealth gave rise to this glamorous European fairy tale city. But then came friction, at first with Genoa and then with the Turks. Again, Venice rose triumphant when, in 1204, it conquered Constantinople and took possession of amazing treasures. At this time, the rulers of the old continent, together with the help of Pope Julius II, decided to divide Venice's power. But the main decline of the Venetian monopoly began with the discovery of America. From then on, its influence began to fade irrevocably. The gondolier's art has endured for centuries. Part of Venice's charm is due to them. Without doubt, the gondola is ideal to explore the hidden corners of the city. With great skill, gondoliers maneuver their 10-meter-long gondolas through narrow canals, and before turning their boats around sharp bends, often call out in warning. They have their own language. It contrasts well with the elegant movement of the oars. The city is far removed from modern life and enchants all who come here. Its wonderful melancholy, the flavor of past centuries, the mysterious atmosphere. All these capture a sense of the extraordinary. Venice, a town with 120 churches. The largest and most famous is the Basilica di San Marco, and due to its magnificence, it's also called Golden Basilica. 2,500 granite and marble pillars support its 11th century walls. Originally, this cathedral was the residential chapel of the Venetian doges. After an adventurous journey from Alexandria, a supposed artifact of the holy disciple Mark arrived in Venice, accompanied by a proud and courageous winged lion. This predator was the symbol of Venice's newfound power. Marble Gothic statues and mosaics in Byzantine style adorn the basilica's facades. Among them are wonderful Moorish elements. From these harmonious architectural styles, a building style developed that is unparalleled in the history of Occidental architecture. The Basilica is a place of discovery. With magnificent mosaics, icons, and frescoes, a pre-Christianity journey takes the visitor to the Orient, where a mystical ambience abounds. Byzantine elements and late Gothic lines unite in the beautiful domed ceiling of the basilica. More than 4,000 square meters of mosaics form the second largest mosaic in the world. Gold glistens from the unique gold altar picture, the only one in the world. Before Napoleon's army looted it, the altar contained 1,300 pearls, 400 garnets, 90 amethysts, 300 sapphires, 300 emeralds, 100 rubies, 4 topaz, and huge amounts of gold and silver. The Piazza di San Marco, one of the most beautiful squares in the world, and it is certainly also one of the most visited places in the lagoon city. Surrounded by buildings of different epochs, it is especially striking when the sun sets in a red fireball and the lion of San Marco beams from his silent pillar. We can almost assume that the square is the result of meticulous planning. For all visitors to Venice, the Piazza Di San Marco is a magnetic attraction. The world-famous square, with pigeons in their thousands. In the shadow of the 98-meter-high campanile, orchestras play in cafe gardens, and artists strive to capture the unique atmosphere. At moments like this, the piazza becomes what Napoleon described as Europe's most beautiful meeting place. The Palazzo Ducale, the Palace of Palaces, the House of the Doges. Here, the power and splendor of this city republic is on full view, and Gothic shapes, influenced by the Orient. At the base of this impressive structure, life is busy. Everywhere, masks and souvenirs are on offer, and so much choice makes it difficult to decide what to buy. Such splendor rightfully belongs to the heart of a city which, for centuries, has taken great pride in its wealth. Venetian Carnival has a long tradition. At the beginning of the 15th century, to organize the first carnival festivities here, young aristocrats founded Compagnie de Calza. Today, the tradition continues, and the heritage of masks and costumes is maintained. For a few days, the city is totally transformed to the glorious years of the 18th century. Carnival time, a special atmosphere engulfs the city. For 10 days, colorful costumes and masks are everywhere. Masked as Casanova or courtisane, the Carnevale is celebrated. An end to the eating of meat before the fast concludes the festivities. In old workshops, traditional masks are created in leather, papier-mâché and beeswax, and imaginatively painted with watercolors. In January, the first masks appear in Venice, but the main carnival takes place during the last 11 days of Shrovetide, before its climax on Ash Wednesday. That's when the carnival atmosphere at the Piazza Di San Marco is at its best and most colorful. During the carnival, the splendor of past centuries is relived, and its glamorous energy confirms the fact that the Venetians certainly know how to celebrate. Each year, the spectacle attracts tourists from all over the world, who become either instant participants or fascinated spectators. The entire city puts on makeup and masks, and in all the faces and on all the masks, a lively and sweet pathos is visible, which reflects the sparkle of this city, the pride of the Repubblica Serenissima. Venice and its inhabitants were a mixture of various and often very different cultures which adapted and unified in a vivacious and fascinating way. Here, the Orient unites with Central Europe. Venetians never forget their ancestors, the seafarers and traders, never alter their way of life, and never lose the feeling of being a little special, namely, inhabitants of the most extraordinary city in the world. Venice, fragile legend of a bygone age.